been a while since I've done a video. I apologize. No, I'm not sorry. What am I saying? I have a life to live. You know, things get in the way. Obviously, we're running the air conditioners in the house now. It's hot and muggy all week. I look forward to the incoming drier, cooler weather, but in the meantime, we'll enjoy some artificial awesomeness. Yeah. For the kitchen, living room, dining area, we've got this nice 12,000 BTU unit. We bought this from my parents when they sold their previous house. Turns out the new place has central air and they don't need these. Actually, they only used this for about 3 months before I bought it from them. And this one's got Wi-Fi built in. I can control it with my phone from work. It's kind of nice, actually. I'm not really an IoT guy, but what the hell, right? This thing actually does a pretty fantastic job of cooling off the whole front end of the house. Fortunately, most of the house is in the shade, so this thing does a great job. It gets it right down there. The real reason I drag you guys out here is to talk about basement windows. So this house has 4 basement windows, sorry, and they're in pretty rough shape. This one is the worst one. What you see here, this is actually the storm window. Normally you'd put either a storm window or a screen here. And on the inside is the movable sash. This is a kind of like an awning window, but they open up like this on the inside. We'll take a look when we get in the house. But there's supposed to be wood around here, and it's all completely rotted away. Just nothing left to it. This window is so close to the ground that it just didn't have a fighting chance. So what I had to do is I had to actually order a custom window for this one. And what I replaced this with is going to be a fixed position window. It will not be opening or closing. Well, it won't be an opening window. It'll be just a again, just a fixed glass window. That's it. Vinyl frame. I just ordered it from Lowe's today, so I should have it by at least August at the latest. They've got some issues down at the production plant. Apparently, production's a little bit hampered by what's going on in the world. But this window will be probably the last one I do, only because I don't have a window that fits here. The closest thing that they sell in the store that I could buy today is it's way too narrow. This is a 35-inch opening, and the only thing that they sell is a 31-inch opening, and it's a little bit on the tall side, so besides, I don't want one that opens. I don't want a standard hopper window or a sliding window here, because again, it is what it is. I will be putting in a window well here to prevent further damage. If this area floods at all, which it never has, but if it does, you know, then we're going to have a problem. You can see that the windowsill is at grade. Moving along, this is the other computer room window. And you can see once again we have a situation where the windowsill is at grade. So we need a window well here. So I'll have to dig one out. And that's just has to be. It has to be that way. What I'm hoping, well, we'll talk about that in a bit. This one is actually in slightly better shape. We actually have a serviceable but falling apart storm window, and yeah, it's in a little better shape, but still no bueno. That sprinkler, by the way, is awesome. Started out over there, and it migrated its way along the hose, and it'll stop at that yellow ramp way at the end. It's the greatest thing ever. These have been around since the 1960s, and just a fantastic piece of equipment. So this window here, again, you know, this one's in actually pretty good shape. but it's been neglected, so it is rotting. That wood is pretty punky, but it's got to come out too. Yeah, they're all pretty rough. All of them are pretty much done for. All the glazing, of course, is gone in these windows, but I didn't bother fixing them because I was going to replace them anyway. When I bought the house, there were screens in these window frames, but I took the screens out because they were rusted through. Last but not least, we've got this one here. This one I could actually save. This is the only one out of the 4 that I could ever possibly hope of saving. The wood is not rotted out. It's still pretty good wood. It just, again, reglaze and paint and it's good to go, but I'm not keeping these. So let's take a look at what I'm going to put in. Of course, there's no windows in the front. It's pretty typical. Suburban homes, I guess. Hey buddy, he started yelling at me as I'm walking in the house. He wants attention and love and all those great things. He's so needy. He's so needy. We love him all the same. That AC too loud for you. Must drive you nuts. Gotta pet the kitty. You know, Mommy's not gonna like that, what you're doing to that. She was gonna use that again next year, but I guess not. No. Don't you scratch up my screens. I need to get 1 more year or so out of them before I can do something about it. Right? Hey, wanna say hi? Wanna say hi? Ooh. Oh, right. I gotta go downstairs. So, you gonna be okay? You alright? Okay. So here we are down in the basement. You can see all that water right there. That actually came in from the window, and that's from the sprinkler. So yeah, these window frames do in fact leak if if pushed. This is all soaking wet. It wasn't leaking previously because I had taped the window up completely, which kind of helped keep the water back. But this is how they open, and they hook in like this, and that's how you ventilate the basement in 1954. But hey, I no longer have the screen frames. I could make new ones, but for reasons that we've already discussed, these windows are being taken out. And that's pretty much going to happen no matter what at this point. And yeah, this is what we've done to kind of shore them up. We just taped them, and it works. But, you know, if we decide to ventilate the basement for any reason, we can't. So let's talk replacement. So these are the windows I bought from Lowe's. These are their Reliabuilt brand. It's kind of Lowe's house brand of windows. They come from a variety of suppliers. I believe Geldwen makes some of them. I don't know who makes these, but these are the ones that they stock in store. No special order needed. They only carry like 2 or 3 sizes. 32 by 18 is basically an exact fit for what I have today. They're a little bit shorter than what I've got now, but with a little bit of blocking, I can make them fit perfect. Basement windows, unlike regular house windows, I mean, they really don't have to be an exact fit. As long as they fit in the opening, and as long as you can, use cement or mortar to close the opening up around the window, use plenty of insulating foam, and attach them, they're good to go. I mean, nobody has custom basement windows made unless they really have to. And that's exactly what I did for the computer room with that weird 35-inch wide by 13 high window. And in that case, I went with, like I said, I went with a fixed position window, so it doesn't have as many opportunities for leakage. There's no mechanism to worry about because there's going to be dirt and crap splattering all over it. You just want something simple. So this is what these windows look like when they're unpacked. Now I've already gone ahead and removed the the nail fin. So when these come packaged like this, they have nail fins attached to them. These are easy as hell to remove. You just take a blade and you score alongside the frame or the channel, and they just snap right off. And you only use the nail fin if you're putting it into a wooden framed wall. I don't think you would generally put it into a concrete wall like that, but I guess it's a free country, you can do what you want. I kind of like these windows. I've been looking at doing this project for about 2 years now, and the ones that I found at Home Depot, I believe they were Andersen windows, but they were really made by some other third party, sold as Andersen windows. That is, I believe, Home Depot's preferred brand of window, whereas Lowe's, they're more of a Pella shop, but, you know, Pella, Therma-Tru. So these windows here, they're not the best of quality, but they're better than the ones that Home Depot was selling. The ones that Home Depot was selling were they had plastic latches. That was an immediate turnoff for me, because I know what plastic does as it gets old. It can become brittle, it can deform, and I just didn't want that in my house. So I was happy to find that the ones that Lowe's is selling, they have at least it could be pot metal, it could be aluminum, but it's actually a metallic latch. And the good thing about that is it's harder to break them, and they're not going to discolor and deform over time. Now these are what they call hopper windows, and I believe the term is really kind of old-fashioned, because these would have been used if they're opened like this from the outside. They were used for loading coal into coal chutes. Just a theory. I don't think that's true, but it sounded good while I made it up in my head. The hardware is, you know, decent. Mostly metal hardware, except for that plastic slide. So what I'm probably going to do is buy another one of these just to have for parts. Hear me out on this. 10, 15 years down the road, if one of my latches breaks, if I break a window pane with a lawnmower, if one of my screens fails, you know, the frame gets damaged, or if something breaks, I don't want to have to rip the whole window out to fix it. If I buy one spare window and just keep it down here, I'll have all the parts I need to fix at least one window. I mean, it's only, what, 80 bucks is what these sell for, so I think it's reasonable. And I won't have to go scrounging for parts, because as things are, as they are what they are, you know, even a simple hopper window changes design every couple years. And I may not be able to find that particular latch, or I won't be able to find you know, any one of these particularly weird, you know, specialized components if it breaks years down the road. Just to, you know, just something to give me a little bit of peace of mind as we move forward with things. Like I was saying, they only stock a couple of sizes, and even the ones that you can order they're very limited. So I could not order a 34 or 35 inch window by, you know, 13 or 12, even 12 inches tall. They just didn't sell such a thing. So I had to have one custom made, and like I said, for reasons previously discussed, for that particular window, let's take a look at the inside of that window, by the way, because it looks better on the inside than it does on the outside. But there is no legitimate reason to have a window here that opens. It just isn't necessary. But this is where it's going to go. And from top to bottom, it is about 13 inches. So the window that I ordered is 12.75 inches tall. What you do when you order a window, you want to make sure, well, if you're custom ordering something, you can get it whatever you want in the increments that they offer. So what I ended up doing here was I measured the opening. I believe it's 13 inches by 35. So I use that as my rough opening dimensions, and then what they do is they automatically size the window down by about 1/4 of an inch. So that gives you a little bit of room to do some shimming and blocking and whatever fudging you've got to do. You never want to order a window that's the exact same size because it probably won't fit. What I don't know, because I haven't had one of these out just yet, what I don't know is what the structure looks like, or what the concrete looks like inside. You know what I'm saying? These windows were installed at the time the foundation was poured. So what they do is they integrate this into the foundation form. They actually build their blocking and their boxes and everything, and it's all part of the form. And they pour the foundation around it. That's usually how these are put in. So the unknown is how much concrete I'm going to have to chisel away once I start pulling these frames out to get the new ones in correctly. That much I don't know. Never done one of these before. But it looks like the new windows are going to be mounted at the face of the concrete wall. Let's take a quick measurement here. So these windows are about 3.5 inches deep. Let's see how far I'm off. Between 3 and 4 inches. They are 3 inches deep. So I do believe that my opening will be big enough, at least 4 inches into the wall. Yeah, I'll be okay. So yeah, that'll be just fine. So that won't be an issue. I'll be able to get them in just fine. So good stuff. Good stuff. I really wish I had better windows. Like if these windows were in better condition, I would restore them, but they're just, they're just so far gone and neglected that I just can't justify putting any effort into them. To get the job done tomorrow, I might start it after work tomorrow, or I might wait until Friday. I'm taking Friday off work to get this done, so at least that's the plan. And I'll be ripping these guys out. I'm going to do that one first because it's the easiest to get to, and I'll at least learn a few things. One of the things I had to do, and it's going to be kind of challenging in the computer room just because of the way the wall's constructed, but the builder of this house put they kind of molded some mortar mix or cement or whatever on top of the foundation wall against the mud sill, or the sill, mud sill, whichever term you prefer to use. That had to be chipped away because once I remove the window frame, it's going to crumble, and I don't want it to do that while I'm taking it apart. So I actually chipped away that stuff over there, and I'm going to have to do the same thing over here. And what I did is I just took a hammer and I just tap it, and it just crumbles away. It's just mortar, so it doesn't have a lot of strength to it. They did it for water intrusion, I think, so that water can't, or has a less of a path to come into the. Not a great idea. I don't know why they did that. It's totally unnecessary. If anything, it keeps the mud sill wet. If water were to penetrate the wall, it just locks in moisture. So I don't know why they did that, but I can't undo the mistake. Actually, I could rip it out, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so that's that. Basement windows are going to get done. It'll be done by the weekend, so I'm actually excited. This is one of those projects. So, as a homeowner, and as a do-it-yourselfer type homeowner that I am, every project I tackle, I get nervous. Everything I do, because I've never done it before. So I get really nervous. I do a lot of research. I overthink stuff, and then I just start buying things. And then once I have the courage, I just tear it apart and hope for the best. Every project I've done to this house has been kind of like that. Plumbing, electrical. Actually, electrical has never really scared me, but plumbing has. And it is everything I do to this house. I keep thinking, all right, how is this going to blow up in my face? But when you really think about it, it's just an opening in a wall, and you're going to put something in to fill it in. I mean, yes, you can screw it up. What's the probability? People replace basement windows all the time without any experience at all. So I have nothing to worry about. It's just a basement window. Pretty hard to screw that up. I think the project that gave me the most anxiety was the kitchen floor. No, that was the basement floor. That was the bathroom floor. That's the one that had me up in knots for weeks before I actually started demoing the floor. I didn't know what to expect. I have never done a VCT floor or a linoleum floor before. I did a peel and stick floor in my condo, but that was nothing. Anyone can do that. But this was a whole new ball of wax. I had to rip up an existing subfloor, put down a new one, put down, Did I screw it up? Oh, hell yes. Did I learn a few things in the process? Absolutely. That floor, it still looks okay now. 2 years later, it looks all right. But I know what needed to be done differently, and I didn't do it that way. I needed to do the project a little bit differently. So that floor will probably get ripped out in the next couple of years and then replaced. And I think I'm going to do tile in the bathroom. I don't think I will ever do a VCT floor in my bathroom again. Because it is a lot of maintenance. A lot of maintenance. I did it in the kitchen only because it was the only style floor that would work for the kitchen we have. It would look like it belongs there in so many words. But the bathroom floor, they make a tile that would look perfect in there. It's a black and white, kind of a coin style tile. I think they call it penny tile. And that is what I'm going to put down if I do it again. I'm going to put down some Schluter board, and I'm going to do it in tile. But that won't be for a while, and I'm not really in any rush to get on that project. So, because what I've got there now works fine. It just has some visual imperfections that bother me and nobody else. I am my own worst critic. But that's pretty typical, I'd say. Man, I really... Look at all that water. Now this I expected because that door, it leaks. There's not much I can do about it. There really isn't. There is not much I can do. I got the drainage rock and everything in there, but when water gets sprayed onto the door, it runs down and gets over the threshold and into the... But what am I going to do? Not much I can do about it. But anyway... Yeah, that was another one. So this door didn't work. When I bought the house, there were 2 or 3 doors in the house that just didn't work. One in the garage, you couldn't open it. It was too big for the frame it was in. It had swollen over the years. This door, it wouldn't latch. They actually had it held closed with 2x4s that were they made these hooks, like castle doors, these large 2x4s. You'd have to rip the 2x4s out of the hooks, and it was like, really, no. And the door frame, there was no door frame up to about here. It was completely rotted away. There was nothing there. Nothing. Just some trim boards. You take the trim boards off, and there's a mouse nest. And it was bad. But this project was one of the first major, I call major construction projects I had to take on, and it had to be done. And it had to be done. It was bad. Water was pouring in like a waterfall. It was, I get like PTSD from what this door looked like back then. I ended up having to take about a good inch or so off of this door to make room for a proper threshold. It didn't even have a threshold. It was really bad. But the door survived. This door is made from old-growth lumber. It was really well made, and it survived. If you can believe it, well, here it is. I just had to take a little bit off the bottom. I think I had to narrow it a little bit to make because I had to make the door frame. I had to build my own door frame. I had to box it in. I had a lot of fun. I used pressure-treated lumber so it won't rot away. Yeah, this was a fun one. And I still love the way I did it. I actually did some stepped reveal, you know, like Art Deco style. I did that on purpose. That was not accidental. I did that on purpose. I wanted it to kind of have some style, you know, little Art Deco appearance there and here and there. But yeah, I love how this door came out, and it works great. You know, it latches properly now. I have a deadbolt in here. There was no deadbolt on this. There were no deadbolts on any door. I put deadbolts all over the house because they work. You know, they give an intruder one more obstacle to go through. I mean, of course, the easiest thing to do would be to crack the glass and reach in and unlock the door, but yeah, who's got time for that, right? If I really cared about security, I'd put a couple of slide bolts in just to piss them off. Oh, I think my sprinkler shut itself off. Oh no, it's still going. Here's the that ledging stuff that I took off. You can see it's just cement. Yeah. Oh yeah, all that had to be done. And then when I trimmed it out, I used PVC. This was the first time I ever used PVC, and now I use it everywhere I go. Every exterior trim board that I rip off, this goes on it. Good stuff. AZEK, it's expensive as hell, but it never rots. And the nice thing about using PVC, termites don't eat it, ants don't eat it, so it doesn't give them an invitation into your home. If you've got wooden trim boards exposed to the elements like this, especially in a basement where, you know, in a lower part of the yard, anything that contacts ground, pine boards are like ant food. And it gives them an introduction, or termites, ants, whatever. They love this stuff. They don't like this stuff. So it's just one less area for them to, you know, one less point of entry for them. But because once they find that your house is made out of food for them, you know, they're just going to take it over. You want to keep them away from the house. You don't want to give up. There it goes. It just shut itself off. You don't want to give them an incentive to eat your house. In so many words or less. So, like I said, any trim boards that come off, I always use PVC. This door here, this is another one I had to reconstruct. This one, the entire threshold was completely rotted out. Of course, using a sprinkler doesn't help the situation, but you know, it seems to be holding up all right. This is the back door for the garage. I made that out of a piece of pressure-treated lumber, and believe it or not, the paint's staying on it, so that's good. But yeah, all of this is PVC. This was wood, and it was totally rotted. Now it's not. Yeah, I win. All right, well, the tractor has done its job. So what happens is when you take it off the ramp, it stays off because that little plunger, that's held shut with water pressure. So once I disconnect, shut the water supply off, watch this. I'll shut the water off, right? Make sure this isn't aimed at me. Just reach underneath there. And now it's just releasing the pressure that's in the hose. So that's kind of nice. That works really well. I'll just unplug the hose. I can't do this one-handed. There we go. And we move it to the front yard. Bada boom, bada bing. Take the ramp with us. And now it's set up to go from here all the way over to the other side of the property. So it'll water everything in its path. I've got these spray bars set up so that they spray pretty far out. And here's our speed selector. Neutral, low, and high. This thing's pretty neat. It actually does a great job. I'm very happy with this thing. I've tried numerous sprinklers, all different styles. This one just does it. We priced out automatic sprinklers, but it was going to cost us like $2,500, and I'm like, I've got way better things I can do with that money. This thing only cost me $100. Well, 70, I think. So, anyway, and it just kind of clips over the hose, and as soon as it reaches this point, it'll shut itself off. Win-win. So here we go. And the nice thing about it is if I wanted to run the hose around the entire house, it would probably do it. Once that hose fills up with water. So it's going to be getting most of all of that around it. It's getting the shrubs over here. And it's going to be getting the edge of the yard. Let's take a look at how far it's going. So it's going to be getting all this, but it kind of peters out over here, so I might have to move it back a little bit to get this. And just like that, it covers the entire yard all the way to the street and to the house, so it gets our shrubs, like I said earlier. But I moved it back. I had to pay out a little bit more hose, but now it's good to go. And so that'll take care of all the yard up to about this point right here. Maybe a little bit will splash into this little alcove. But I have plans of actually filling this in with gravel, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I want to put gravel here at some point. And the main reason I want to do gravel is because eventually we will put new windows here, and apparently we're going to have to do new screens, aren't we, buddy? Yeah. You little screen destroying animal, you. But a lot of dirt splashes onto these windows. It doesn't need to be there, buddy. Hey. Hey. Hey, 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 hey. What are you doing in my screens? They're metal, so yeah. Anyway. And yes, I butchered my own phone line. I don't think I'll be needing it anytime soon. It used to go diagonally across the driveway, and you know, it just didn't need to be there. You can see it on the pole. I stapled it to the pole like that. Goodbye phone line. But what it was doing was it was leaving black stains all over the house, and you know, as the rubber degrades, it oxidizes and leaves stains on the house. So goodbye phone line. Anyway, so oh wait, my sprinkler got stuck. What happened? That's not good. Uh-oh. Oh, I got stuck in the hose. Damn it. Alright, well, we have to figure that out. Oh, shit! Hold on. Oh, crap. Maybe. Yeah, that'll take care of it. Alright, let me see if I can run fast enough to not get soaked. There we go. Of course, I got a little bit wet. That's alright. I'm not made of flour or anything like that. Alright, so let's do this. This is not going to do its job if it's not in the right position. This stakes into the yard. See that? There we go. And yes, it will cross the driveway. I have tested that theory. So, Okay, off we go. And of course, our little friend wants to once again be loved unconditionally, even though he destroys my screens. Isn't that right? Destroy Daddy's screens. Is that your plan? Is that your goal? Buddy boy? Hey, look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for more nonsense. I'll probably do a video while I'm doing the windows just to kind of go through the process. If anyone else finds that information useful, great. If not, you know, there's always other YouTubers. So maybe enjoy one of those folks. Until then.